Live well now with Dr. Lauren.
Hello everyone, it's Dr. Lauren Powell and this is another episode of Live Well Now. Live well now because you have things that you need to do. You have a mission that's been assigned to your life, and so you need to feel well in order to do that. We don't have time for sickness, we don't have time for disease, and so I don't want you to live well next year, next month, in your future lifetime. I want you to live well right now. So my goal is that when we meet together, I'm giving you tips, tricks, tools, strategies to help you live better right now. Not just you, but your family, your kids, your community, everybody that's connected to you. So today we're in the kitchen and I thought I would make for you and show you how to make these apple, zucchini, carrot muffins that I like to make in the fall or winter time because they just give me like fall, winter vibes. These are pretty easy to make. Let's kind of go over our ingredients. And what's great about these is we're not going to use any sugar. You're probably wondering how are we making a muffin with no sugar, but follow along. Stay with me, okay? So we're going to be using some regular flour. We're going to be using some coconut flour. Coconut flour is great. This is how we're going to get some of that sweetness. It's from that coconut flour. We're going to use a little bit of monk fruit. This is our sugar alternative. We've got some sugar-free applesauce. I've got some pecans. You don't have to use nuts. You can make these completely nut-free. I'm doing a little bit of nut. I think I'm going to do it mostly on top though. I've got some cinnamon. I've got 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I've got a teaspoon of baking soda. I've got a teaspoon of salt. I've got 1 apple, Honeycrisp apple. I've got 2 pretty large zucchinis. Usually I would use kind of like 2 smaller ones or 2.5 smaller ones, but we'll see how things work out with these 2 large ones. And then y'all, I just had some baby carrots in the fridge. This was all I had left, so that's what we're gonna use. We also have a stick of butter. I went ahead and melted it ahead. So we're gonna need 2 bowls. We're gonna need a wet bowl. That's where we're gonna put all our wet ingredients. And then we're gonna have a dry bowl. Once we get everything, our wet stuff together and our dry stuff together, we're gonna slowly add wet stuff to our dry ingredients and then until we get a desired consistency, okay? So first, let's go ahead and prep all of our veggies with shred stuff. Let's put things in the food processor for our wet bowl. So I'm gonna move our dry bowl out the way. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this apple. So you guys can see well. Let's go ahead and cut this apple. That's enough for that because we're gonna put it in our food processor. I'm gonna chop the ends off of this. And this is a really big zucchini, you guys. So I think I'm just gonna start with 1 and see what happens. Let's just start with 1 and see what happens. If we need more, we can add more, but I would hate to waste a whole zucchini and then don't use it. So let's come over to our food processor. All right, she's on. So let's start with our apple. Perfect. So it's just gonna kind of shred it. It's okay, we got some apple stuck there. It's gonna just, as we put more things in there, it's just gonna get shredded. Go, let's put some more in there. I want you guys to kind of see what consistency I'm going with. Take these big pieces out that didn't make it. So you can kind of see what the consistency is we're working with. We're just kind of shredding everything up. Everything's going to be about the same size. We're going to just have it all mixed together. Let's go ahead and finish this out. Let's see how our carrots do. One more guy got left. All right. Let's go ahead. We could further kind of process these, but let's move these out the way. Let's go ahead and put everything in our wet bowl. All our veggies and that apple. These are all our wet ingredients. Just go through and make sure we didn't get any big chunks in here. Everything looks like it's shredded pretty well. Okay. All right, you guys. Next thing I'm gonna add to my wet bowl is kind of clean some of the stuff out of the way. Done with our food processor, we will not need her anymore. I did forget our 2 eggs. We will need our 2 eggs. That's gonna go in our wet bowl. And then so to our wet bowl, we need our 2 eggs, and then we're gonna add our applesauce, okay? So let's go ahead. Applesauce is gonna help give some moisture. It's also gonna add some sweetness. It's sugar-free. We're trying to watch our sugar here, right? We're trying to make a healthy treat without all of the sugar. All right, so let's go ahead and finish adding our wet ingredients. We've got our 2 eggs. I'm gonna go ahead and, I think I'm gonna whip these up first. Just gonna whip these up in here. 1, 2. And then we're gonna do about 1 cup of applesauce. I'm gonna go ahead and just put that in here. So I think about 2 of these little individual sizes would be great. These are what I happen to have around, sugar-free. So we're gonna add this to our wet bowl, and then we're gonna stir things up. And as always, we're gonna try to clean up as we go, just to make things easier for us at the end. So I've got my applesauce. All right, let's stir up our wet ingredients. Let's clean some of this stuff up. All right, so let's stir up all our wet ingredients together. Just gonna get a nice big spoon. And remember, in here we have our butter. We have 2 eggs. We have a huge zucchini that we shredded. We have an apple that we shredded. Oh, I see. Oh, I thought that was a big piece. We've got carrots. So we want like a nice, even mixture. There's a big carrot. Take that out. All right, so these are our wet ingredients and they're all prepared. Let's get our dry ingredients together. Put wet aside. And I've got my dry ingredients here. So let's just do it. Cinnamon, salt, 1 teaspoon each, baking soda. All right, now we've got 2 cups of regular flour. And we've got 1 cup of coconut flour. I love to bake with coconut flour, or like I use it in my pancakes. Coconut flour, okay. Then we're gonna do a little bit of monk fruit. Monk fruit is actually a Chinese fruit that can be ground, and it has a sweet flavor to it. To me, it satisfies my sugar cravings. It gives you just enough sweetness that you need. I like to bake with it because the conversion is 1-to-1. So, I'm gonna do less than 1 cup. And I'm gonna get a fork and I'm just gonna stir this all up. So all my dry ingredients are mixed together well. Stirring up all of those dry ingredients. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna slowly add all of our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. So I like to do just a little bit at a time because I don't want them to end up too wet. And our vegetables, no vegetables created the same. So make it one that has lots of water, super ripe, and some that are less. So this is definitely still very, very dry. So that tells me I can keep on adding. So these are great for like breakfast. These are great for like a kid's party. My kid loves muffins. I love muffins and I like to make them because I feel like it's just an easy thing to grab and go. Almost there. All right. Almost there. We can definitely go ahead and add the rest of our wet ingredients. And we are cleaning as we go. So let's make sure this is mixed really, really well. I just like to use a big spoon to mix it because I don't want to shred my veggies any further because I don't want them to just turn into water. So we just want to make sure everything is nice, even. So we still have a good amount of dry ingredients. So we still have some work to do. It's getting there. It smells so good. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. These are going to bake for about 30 minutes. It may take a little bit longer depending on the size, but I'm just using like standard muffin size. So I think this is mixed pretty well. Oh, no, I found some dry ingredients on this corner. So let's make sure that gets mixed in here. All right, mixed well. Everything is mixed well, great consistency. Everything looks pretty even in terms of even distribution of all our vegetables. Now let's bring in our muffin pan. All right. So these are gonna bake up. So you don't wanna overfill them. That's perfect. I put 12. This is like a standard 12 muffin pan, but this is looking like more than 12 to me. So we'll see, we may have to grab another muffin pan. Let's make sure we fill these up. All right, so this definitely filled it. I'm gonna grab another muffin pan. I think we'll probably get about 6 more. So I'll do 6 more papers. Muffin batter is pretty sticky. You're gonna have to get your fingers dirty a little bit. I think this is gonna be it. Take these out. All right, so now if you wanted to add a little bit of nuts, you could. You can do some with nuts. You know, some people have nut allergies, so you may. I always, whenever I cook, and I know other people will be eating these, I'm gonna take these to work. I always want, if I can, to make the ingredients as visible as possible so you see it and you know there's nuts in here. You could always mix this in the batter if it was for your family and you knew kind of everyone's safe in terms of a nut allergy. All right, I'm just gonna do a couple with nuts and then I'm gonna save a couple without. All right, this is going in the oven.